All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to officially call the meeting to order. My name is Maria Waig with the Office of Community Engagement here at the City of Boise. We have 4 events today presenting, so we're going to try to be as efficient as possible. We have about 15 minutes per event allocated, so we'll ask event organizers to go through their presentations, touch on important pieces. And I would just ask if you don't have questions for event organizers, just kind of say, hey, I'm good. So we can make sure that we honor everybody's time. So we'll start by just going around the room quickly and then the virtual room with introductions, starting with ACHD.
John Wasson, Ada County Highway District.
Debbie White, Ada County Highway District.
Conrad McDaniel, Republic Services.
Vince Vergara, City Boise Parking.
Greg Eisenberg, Valley Regional Transit.
Summer Altieri, Boise Parks and Rec.
Heather Lyle, Downtown Boise Association.
Dre Thompson, Boise Fire.
Jesse Tapper, Boise Fire.
Camille Aikens, Ada County Paramedics.
Jeff Nia, Boise Police.
Dwight Kirkland, Boise Police.
Rachel Holford, City of Boise Emergency Preparedness.
Kelly Frank, City Clerk's Office.
And Ed, do we have you today?
Yeah, morning. Ed Graves, Public Works Department.
Great, thank you. And Sydney.
Good morning, Sydney Murphy, City Risk Management.
Great, thank you so much. And then also just a reminder, we do live stream this meeting, so please use your mic so the system can pick up what we're saying. And with that, we will welcome Opera in the Park. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Diana Kaler. This is Fernando Menendez. We are from Opera, Idaho, and we are bringing to you Opera in the Park for our 2nd year. Last year, we had a turnout bigger than what we had anticipated, from what I understand. I'm new enough to Opera, Idaho that while I participated in that event, I was not in charge of anything. But last year we had a really good event. We came close to 1,000 people. We are hoping for more people this year. And we are looking at the addition of a beer garden and some food truck vendors, which is why we are presenting to you this year when we didn't have to last year. This will be Opera Idaho's 2nd year presenting a free concert of opera and Broadway highlights featuring guest artists and a live orchestra at the newly renovated Gene Harris Bandshell in Julia Davis Park. Our guest artists include soprano Madison Leonard, mezzo-soprano Blythe Gaysert, tenor Carlos E. Santelli, and baritone Brian Major. Opera Idaho's general director Mark Junkert and soprano and artistic advisor, and she was our soprano last year, Cecilia Violeta Lopez, will be our co-MCs for this year's event. Many opera companies around the nation present free outdoor summer opera concerts with orchestras in parks and other public spaces, notably the Madison Opera's Opera in the Park, which I understand hosts at least 5,000 people every year. We are not going to be that big, thank goodness. That would be way too big too soon. Our event, we start with a VIP dinner at 5 p.m. on Saturday, July 9th, followed by a free concert at 7:30 p.m. and then a VIP post-concert meet and greet at 9:30. We anticipate that post-concert meet and greet to end at 10:15 so that we can begin cleanup and be out by 11 o'clock. We did have nearly 1,000 people last year with 75 approximately VIPs at the pre and post concert events. This year we are expecting an increase. And like I said, we are hoping to add a beer garden and food trucks. On the next slide. Sure, go ahead. This is our anticipated layout. It's very similar to what we had last year with the addition of the beer garden. What is not on the maps is where we would put the food trucks, and those would go along that strip where the map kind of cuts off. And I believe we are looking at potentially 2 of those. But you can see where our VIP area would be, as well as the beer garden, and that those do have crowd barriers. And we would have security posted at check-in and checkout points to make sure that we don't have security issues, but as well as we don't have alcohol issues with alcohol getting in or out where it's not supposed to be. I do not have the information yet, but we have been in contact with Protector Services of Idaho to run security for that. I'm just waiting on the final paperwork so that we can have that completely contracted. As far as I know, that's what I have.
Perfect, thank you. I don't see any porta potties on your map.
That was something last year. Did somebody just start to speak? I'm so sorry. Okay, I thought I heard something. Last year, we simply relied on the bathrooms that were there at the park. And Mark Junkert, our general director, at this point told me to hold off on planning on porta potties until we were told that those were necessary.
Great. Well, I will defer to Summer about that, but it seems like with a crowd that size, we probably want to think about some porta potties.
Sure.
All right. No, we'll just go around the room and ask folks to ask questions of you and see what follow-up we need. Okay. John, ACHD.
ACHD would ask that you do a type A permit for us.
Okay.
It'll take about 4 minutes.
Okay.
It'll be a no fee permit, but this is the same weekend as the Twilight Criterium.
Okay.
So downtown Boise is going to be fairly busy and moderately congested. And we want to make sure we deconflict events as best we can, especially given the number of construction projects that we've got, that we all have going in the downtown core. So you can get that off our website, or you can give me or Debbie a call and we can email it to you, but it only takes 3 minutes. It'll be no fee. We won't require any insurance because you're all in the park. We just want to make sure that we've got you deconflicted.
Great.
Good morning.
Morning.
I saw in your application you're planning for an 8-yard trash dumpster.
That was, yes.
Okay, that's great. I tried to look it up, see if it was ordered yet. It has not been.
No, I don't believe it has been.
Okay. I'll keep my eye on it. You still have time to get
Okay.
that ordered. We deliver on Friday, remove Monday.
Okay.
So I saw that last year it was a 3-yard trash dumpster. You're expecting an increase, so it makes sense that you'd want to plan for an 8-yard. So that's good. Thank you. And recycle. I don't see a plan here for recycling. Do you have an idea how you're going to manage that?
Let me talk to that because I was sort of in charge of that last year. Last year, we ended up not having recycling for the simple fact that we were told that so many people throw water bottles that have liquid in them and other debris into the recycling bins that kind of negates that portion. So we just took everything, just treated it as trash after the event. But we can definitely have separate containers this year to accommodate for that.
Okay, I'll let Ed speak to that a little bit more, but I was thinking maybe you had in mind collecting recycling and just taking it back to your home office if you had recycling there and put it in recycle. But I'll save it for Ed to expand on that. The placement, Summer, you're good with the placement there by the band shell. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's right by that 6-yard that's always sitting out there. That's really all I have. Interested to see what Ed has to add, and you can reach out to me if you have further questions about how to order the trash and whether you should use recycling services on site. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Diana, thank you for taking my call. I understand that all the parking is going to be inside of the park, and so you don't need anything from us in parking. But if anything changes and you need something from us, you could get a hold of me. You've got my number, and of course you can email it to you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We're good. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
I would definitely encourage you guys to look into Porta Potties, and I can help you figure out how many you will need. It'll depend on the hours for your event and also number of participants.
Okay.
So please let me know if you need help with that. Will there be any food vendors? And I'm sorry if I missed that.
We will have a catered dinner. We have not yet contracted any food trucks, but that was something that we were looking into.
Okay.
This timeline is new to us.
Okay. So what we need is an official notification of event. It's a form that can be found on our website, and also a vendor list once you determine what those vendors are. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. You guys did such a great job last year, especially first time event, and under all the circumstances, you guys did a wonderful job. So I'm happy to help you. If you have like setup questions the day of, we can walk the park and I can kind of show you where your power is going to be, all that stuff. A couple of things. So the restrooms, I'll give you the counts. So then we can tell Natasha how many the parks provides, because you were in that number last year. So we'll do that, and that'll be an easy fix for you guys. The park itself has recycling bins, so you can encourage your your vendors or your people to use those recycling bins this year. And if you feel like those bags all fill up, then we can get a recycling bin next year. Because I understand, wanting to do that. And Ed can give you a bunch of great tips to encourage people to do that. But feel free to use ours that are already hooked on there. I did have a question. So your dumpster for your loading zone, I know you guys used that a lot last year, that little back parking lot. So do you want to put your dumpster like on the road behind the band shell? Otherwise, Conrad and I put the dumpsters in that parking lot. So.
Yeah, no, if you see, there's a little white square kind of on the road. On the map, that's kind of where we were hoping to have the dumpster.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is that good? Okay. So we'll do that and you guys will be great, but let's schedule a meeting so you can go on site and you can see it, and we can talk about what your new beer garden will, what it'll look like and what you need for it and stuff, but you guys are doing great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Oh. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
I got your email this morning about the neighborhood notification. I just wanted to clarify there are no fees associated with that.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened there, but that form was just let your neighbors in the park know kind of what's going on. The zoo, especially on a Saturday, it's going to be busy. But if you just let your neighbors in the park know what's happening, and then if you're sending out any sort of communication to anybody, forward it to me. And that way we can help share that information. And so, but that's all I have. And I'll respond to that email too.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good morning. You're going to need a tent permit for this. I think Idaho Tents and Events will probably take care of that for you. So just make sure that gets filed. Food trucks, you're going to have, you said 2 you're looking at?
We're hoping to,
2?
yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is contact, when you do find out who you're using, I'm going to send you a document and you need to forward that onto your food trucks and then verify that they actually receive the document. They're supposed to get a fire department inspection annually. And when they get their inspection, they get a little blue sticker that they put on the outside. And if they don't have that at your event, we will shut them down and ask them to leave. So please make sure you do that, because we don't like shutting people down. So, and then if you keep Julie Davis Drive open for emergency access when they're loading right there, I think you're not going to have a problem with the fire department and everything looks good. So,
great.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Diana.
Morning.
So we already talked about the medical plan. I'm good with it. The only thing that we'll watch is the numbers this year. If they go over 2,000, we'll want to think about setting up a designated first aid station for next year.
Okay.
So other than that, we're good.
Great, thank you.
Hi, just want to verify. So it looks like you have a bar area in the VIP tent separate from the beer garden. So the beer garden is not going to be flowing into the VIP tent.
Correct.
Okay. If it does, that's fine. It would just need to have its own, like a dedicated pathway. So if you decide you do want a path for VIPs to go back and forth, and just make sure there's at least a 3-foot dedicated path between the two tents. That's all I just wanted to verify. Thanks.
Good morning. Just a quick question. When you guys have your crowdberry, what are you guys going to be using for that? Do you know yet? Is it bike fencing, snow fencing?
I don't know what it's called, but it's that big one that has like bars in the middle.
Perfect. We just want to make sure that those can be moved very quickly if we need to evacuate people from an area. So just make sure that you have that ability. So make sure you got some breaks in there where you can open those up if you need to get people out quickly.
Okay.
So that's great. And then just want to reiterate what Captain Tappert said. Please keep that roadway clear when you have your vendors coming in or people parking. We have to make sure that that remains open so any emergency vehicles can get through there, which is going to be extremely important should somebody need it. Other than that, it looks great. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. Thank you for sending the last couple of documents. I'll look those over. If there are any questions, I'll get back to you. But if you need anything, don't hesitate to call or reach out. So nice to meet both of you.
Thank you.
Ed?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. I just had a couple of quick questions. So do you know who the caterer is?
Last year, we used a company called Open Table, and Mark was working to get them secured to do this year's event as well.
Okay. And I apologize. I do not, like, your event does not sound familiar at all from last year. So I apologize if we dealt. This is like sounding so new to me. But yeah, we will work offline because to Conrad's point, I definitely want to make sure that your caterer and things are, if we can use reusable cups, just whatever we can do to limit your trash and divert as much going to the landfill as possible. So I won't take up this committee's time, but I'll be reaching out to you and see what we can get squared away for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Ed.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
And Sydney.
We're all good on our end. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Great job, you guys. Really, really fun event and fun to have you in front of this committee. Really curious to see how many folks show up this year. It was incredible last year. So we'll have everybody follow up. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Up next is Boise Hemp Fest. Chris, are you here? Ah, fantastic. Everyone's here in mass.
Collaboration. So we are passing out our 2022 event summary to you right now.
Yeah, you can go ahead and just get started while she's passing it out.
Awesome. So obviously Sarah Frank has hosted this event for 5 years before this year, and she's passed on to me as the event director. Basically just want to keep the footprint of the event the same as what she's always done. Basically just listening to her and asking what, is recommended or, what needs to be done. And so to start off with the event summary here, it's going to be in Julia Davis Park on July 16th. It's going to start at 10 a.m. and actually end at 10 p.m. We have a focus of doing a family-friendly educational event. I know that there's kind of a bad reputation with hemp, but we do want to promote education from hemp and make it a legal event in the city of Boise. So we do want to follow the laws and the rules of the city of Boise. in the state of Idaho. This year, we're planning on adding two additional headliner bands, which we haven't ever had a headliner in the past 5 years. So we're planning on adding 2 reggae bands, which we think that'll actually increase the attendance. So in the past couple of years, actually last year, we believe that the attendance was about 1,000 throughout any time during the day. And we believe that that'll probably increase to about 1,500 during the day. The event's going to include a kid land, which is going to be kid friendly because obviously it's family friendly. So parents that bring their kids, we want them to have something to do for their kids. So there's going to be jump houses, events, designing, rock painting, and different types of kid activities that they can participate in. We're also going to have an art land, which is going to have local talent, Sector 17. They do a lot of mural work in Freak Alley. They're going to be doing an 8-foot by 8-foot plywood live demonstration with their art on the other side of the park from Kidland. And then we also have our beer garden that's going to be in the central part of the park. So what we've done to kind of increase the flow of traffic and not get it congested. Last year, we had the opening on the south side for the beer garden. We had the opening on the south side of the park where we noticed that most people were walking in from the Rose Garden. So now the opening is going to be on the Rose Garden side, but we're also planning on putting a Boise PD tent that is going to be across the sidewalk. So that way they have drinks and food throughout the day. But if they need a monitor, they have a headquarters right across the opening of the beer garden. I'm going to have 14 food trucks there. Addition last night, world's best corn dogs. And I just added that to this event summary. They're actually going to have 2 trucks there. So I didn't send that over. It was just 1 truck, but we're going to have 2 trucks there. So 14 food trucks. We're going to have probably over 100 vendors, and we are renting the green room from the band shell. So for trash, we're going to be having an 8-yard trash bin and 8-yard recycle bin. We're also requesting 15 recycle boxes, 25 trash boxes to anticipate the increase of the attendance this year.
Thank you, Chris. Beautiful job. Also, you don't need to apologize for the event. You all put on a really great event every year. Every I dotted and T crossed, and we know that you're promoting things that are legal in the state of Idaho. So please don't feel like you need to apologize at all for the event. And we will start with ACHD.
Chris, how many people are you anticipating for the event?
So throughout the 12 time period, probably about 17,000 people.
Okay, we will want a type A permit from you guys, please. It'll be a no fee permit. We won't need insurance because you're in the park. It's just so that we've got some visibility on the event and can make sure we deconflict it with anything else.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you. Every year you guys are well prepared and ready to go even before you present. So thank you. I did confirm that you have services ordered. With the increase of people, let me back up. This is your first year as director. Have you been involved with the event in previous years?
Last year I did assist in the marketing of the event, but this is the first year that I'm a co-director.
Okay. So in the past, it's always been 8-yard trash, 8-yard recycling. As far as I know, that's worked. Do any of you recall if that's been at capacity or overflowing at all?
We've gone up over the years. I believe we started with 3-yard, and then just as the years gone on, it's just increased. Last year we did pretty well. We definitely had more room for recycling. I think encouraging people to recycle more is probably on the agenda. But so far it's been okay. I'm not sure about with an increase or if we'll have an increase. So we'll see what happens for this year.
Okay, yeah, that's something we'll keep in mind. You're comfortable with the 8-yard trash and recycle though?
It seemed to be pretty good.
Because yeah, beyond that, we'll have to consider bringing in a second 8-yard trash or maybe even a 20-yard roll off would be the next step up. So that's something that we might consider in 23. But yeah, and by the band shell, you're planning on putting these?
Yes.
And that's going to be okay. Okay. So yeah, at this point, I'm good. But yeah, we might see how this goes and think about maybe a little more service next year.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Chris, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate you letting me know about the parking being inside of the park. So for parking, we're set to go. We're good.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for being so prompt and providing us with information. I, however, would have you guys fill out an official notification of event form. I know you emailed, right? But there's an official form to fill out.
Okay.
So, and also with this additional truck, would you please update the vendor list?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I have a question. I just want to make sure I heard you right, because I think we all said, oh, wait a second. Did you say 17,000 people or 1,700 people?
So throughout the day, I feel like there would be about 17,000 people in traffic, but I don't feel like there would be 17,000 people there at one time.
Okay, okay. Because we just, that changes from my point all the way around that table. So it's got a lot, very expensive, just that direction. So I just wanted to ask that. Also, that would change things for this, like the dumpster and the porta potties. So if we're going with past years plus, a few hundred or 1,000 more, like it's great planning. So just
We do plan on coming the very next morning to make sure that we pick up trash, which is an annual thing.
yeah, no, you guys have done a great job. You have big shoes to fill because Sarah has been like so good. I wish you could train all of our organizers. My only thing just to remember is that the food trucks, you can't drive all the way through that road. I know we did it one year, but we don't do that anymore. So that's all I have to catch up with you guys for right now.
Hey there. I sent that neighborhood notification form to you guys yesterday, and it's just a guideline. You guys don't have very many neighbors to let know there, but with it being on a Saturday again in the park, just make sure your neighbors there in the park know what's going on and what to expect as far as, where they can access. It sounds like the whole park's going to be open, but just let them know what's going on. And if you have information that you want to send my way as well, that would be great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good job, guys. You guys did an excellent job last year, by the way. So again, it's going to require a special events permit, same permit you applied for last year. Are you going to have fire dancers again this year?
Yes, we brought
Okay.
them.
So usually that requires a separate flame effects before an audience permit, but if you have them ready, all your product ready to be inspected during your special events inspection, we can put that all under one permit. Just make sure you submit everything you're using under that special events permit. Okay. Does that sound doable? Can you have all that ready at the same time? Okay.
Yeah, I believe we've done that every year like that.
Okay.
So thank
All
you.
right. Perfect. And then, yeah, I think you heard my speech on the food trucks. Please don't just send the document to the food trucks. I'm going to send to you, verify that they received it, that you already gave me a list. So I want that all verified before they even show up. And if they show up without their blue sticker, just turn them around and tell them to leave. Because like I said, we're going to shut them down. You mentioned a structure that you're building out of plywood. Can you?
Yeah, so it'll it won't stake into the ground. It'll
Okay.
just be like a leg platform with 2x4s, but then the 8-foot by 8-foot surface would be plywood. And so the artists themselves actually construct that themselves, and then they take it down as well.
Okay, so it's not something you're putting people on.
No.
It's just, okay.
No.
It's okay. And then, again, I can't stress the importance of keeping Julia Davis Drive open. That's one of our main ingress routes for emergency vehicles. And the danger is when you start getting your food trucks over there or whatever vehicles you have there, when they're unloading, just keep that open all the time. That's all we have. Thank you.
So I see on here just the first aid booth, just due to the numbers that you're gonna have going through there. Can you give me some details on what that looks like?
For the first aid booth.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a 20 by 10 pop-up tent that we would have our volunteer staffing with supplied water and trying to access a fan right now so that way I can have power to cool people down because it will be really hot. And so really trying to be proactive with passing out chapstick and sunscreen, trying to help people, stay hydrated. But if anything were to happen, we would bring them to that 20 by 10 booth, air conditioned, and having it right there by the loading zone. We feel that it's easy for emergency vehicles to come in because that's where the entertainment drives in and we load and unload them. So if we did need to have an emergency evacuation, that would be where it would happen.
So I think that we need to start thinking about having a designated standby unit there, just due to the numbers that you have going through there. So there are some private contract services here in the Valley, ambulance services. You don't necessarily need to have them there for the whole day, but I would say those high traffic area times, especially when the two main bands go on, I'm not feeling comfortable with just a first aid with
4 to
volunteers.
10.
I would feel more comfortable with you having an ALS standby unit there, especially if you feel like you're going to have about 17,000 throughout the park throughout the day. You're going to have more than 1,500 in the park. 911 can't be your service this year. So I'm going to feel more comfortable if you contract a standby service. So also on our Ada County website, there's a medical form. So once you get that all done and you figure out who you're going to use, then fill out that form and submit it. And then we can reevaluate it then.
Awesome.
Hi. So no issues about the beer garden, that'll probably be standard flare. I see last year we did 2 officers hired. With the increase in numbers, maybe you want to think about bumping that up this year to 3 officers.
I would take your recommendation. So yeah, if that sounds, more efficient.
Yeah, normally we have a little bit of a staffing guideline getting to those numbers. We're looking at like 3 officers, maybe even a supervisor, but I'm pretty good with maybe just 3 officers and see how it goes.
Okay.
But I would like to maybe just add another officer to your staffing.
All right. Would it be similar to the same investment as last year?
Basically, yeah. We have we'll send you over the agreement. You can look it over, and if you have any questions, we can talk about it offline. Okay.
Good morning. Welcome back and looking forward to another great event with you guys. I only have a couple questions. What is your guys' communication plan on communicating with the people that are your volunteers and working the event?
So we do plan on having a radio system there, so that way we can have walkie-talkies to communicate. As of right now, we have 40 volunteers, and a portion of those volunteers are CPR certified and have security experience. So I believe that the majority of the radios would go to those people.
Perfect. Just want to make sure, because we do understand that sometimes when you have that many people in there, the cell services don't work very well.
Yeah.
So especially if you're dealing with any kind of a medical emergency, you need to be able to communicate that. We highly recommend that you stay in contact with the officers that are working, especially if you have a lost or found child, because they can communicate with dispatch if somebody else has located them and has called it into dispatch. And then also love the setup. I was looking at the distance between your kid land and your first aid / lost child tent. It's a bit of a distance. Might be something you guys consider in the future about trying to put those a little bit closer together, because that's where your kids are going to go when they're separated from their parents. They're going to the playground. So other than that, looks great. And we'll wait to hear from BPD on the resources.
Hello, nice to meet and see all of you again. I don't need anything, you know where to find me, email, call, if I can help. I'll review your vendor list and just make sure everyone's good with the city licenses and get back to you if there's any discretions there. Thank you.
All right, we'll go online now. Ed.
Thank you. Good morning. Just a couple things. One, do you know for the beer garden how that's getting served?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the end of it.
Could you repeat the question one more time?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just in the beer garden, how is that being served?
How's the beer being served?
Well, we're going to have a couple different options for the clients there. We're going to have everything is going to be coming out of a keg is going to be put into a recyclable cup. And we'll also have cans available for purchase. So everything will have to be drank within the beer garden, and then we'll have recycling available for all those containers.
Okay. Just curious too, that cup is like a solo cup or something?
Yeah, it'll be like
Okay.
your standard, like 12 ounce, 14 ounce white or clear recyclable cup that we use for events.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we can chat offline, but that's probably like a trash item actually instead of recyclable, just so you know.
Okay.
So I would definitely, I mean, if you can, I would try to do it either, if folks can bring in their reusable cups and you can pour with that, or promote cans, just something again to like lessen the amount that's being sent to the landfill.
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, we'll work offline and we will get you what you need as far as trash boxes and recycling bins. And definitely with all these vendors, there is the vendor low waste guide that I didn't on your application. I think that was the old application. Our new one, and I can send you the link, but I would definitely like you to electronically distribute that to all vendors, food and non-food. It just helps them, create less waste again. So anyway, thank you very much. Yeah, this has always been a great event, and we will work offline and we'll get you what you need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sydney.
Good morning. We just need your proof of insurance for the event.
Awesome. So I should be getting a quote for that 30 days out. I did talk to the agent and he did tell me that he couldn't quote me until 30 days out.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, it's great to have the San Ignacio Basque Festival back. John and Ryan. I know you guys have been in front of this committee before. We've got a lot of new faces. So if there are new questions for you, just bear with us, please.
Yeah, not a problem. We noticed that on your permissions worksheet. So, all right. So thanks for having us. My name is Johnny Boyd and this is Ryan Boyd, and we're members of the board of directors for the Bass Center. And we're excited to be back after a couple of years off for another San Ignacio festival. So this year's event, we're planning to be as similar as possible to past events. So 2019, 2018 events. It'll be a similar overall schedule where we look to close off the street at 4 p.m. on Thursday. That's July 28th, and then do our decorating and most of our setup that evening and on Friday morning. And then the festival would officially open up at about 5 p.m. on Friday night. And then that night would just be really people coming down, hanging out outside and inside the Bass Center. No amplified music or musicians that night. And then Saturday during the day, we would have our typical dance performances, as well as some sporting events inside the fronton. This year, we're lucky to have a couple of entertainers and entertainment groups from the Basque country coming to be part of the festival. So we'll have a dance group as well as a musician. And we've basically just worked them into our typical schedule. So not really a change to the overall schedule, just a little bit of shifting and shuffling of other people that are typically involved. So then Saturday night, we'll have a concert on the Bass Block. And then Sunday, our event moves into Municipal Park for the morning and then comes back to the to Grove Street for another concert that evening. And then we typically do all of our cleanup Sunday night. So by midnight, 12:30, we're completely cleaned. And then the last items are removed first thing Monday morning to reopen the street at 8 a.m. And that'll be August 1st. So with that, I think we can. Does this allow us to flip to the next page? Oh, there it is. Maybe. I was just going to pull up the next page, which is our festival map. There we go. Hopefully people can see that. There's a lot going on to get it on one sheet. But just to basically go over the plan here, as I mentioned, Thursday at about 4, before a lot of the traffic starts, we would look to close down Grove Street between 6th and Capitol, and then we would begin our setup that night. And then the street would remain closed throughout the festival until reopening at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, August 1st. We use our own barricades for that closure. And I don't believe we need anything that goes in 6th Street. We haven't in the past, but if there's a need for a detour sign or something like that, we can certainly accommodate that on those barricades or elsewhere. We have talked with parking services about the spaces along 6th Street along the east side of the Bass Center. And so we will be renting those spots, keeping the handicap spot open for an emergency vehicle like an ambulance if needed. And then the other spots, we have an ice truck and a beer storage truck for our distributor. You can see at the top, we are planning on having our usual fire access into Grove Street on the north side of the street, and having that ability to go all the way through Grove Street and back onto Capitol. And then in addition, I believe there is an access through the parking lot next to Business Interiors on the north side. There's a gate through the alleyway as well, not shown on this drawing yet. So with that, I think we're ready to go into any questions.
Great, thank you so much. Sean.
I believe we've got just about everything we need for them. Is this on Annie's calendar at the Bass Museum? You've already coordinated with Annie
It
Kavika?
is, yes.
And you're using Bass Block barricades or your own barricades?
Bass Block barricades.
Okay. I think that's about it then.
Good morning and welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks.
I tried to find the dumpsters you're talking about. There's a lot of dumpsters in that area. The ones I pinpointed down for the existing trash and recycling are 3 yards. The trash is picked up every other Tuesday. Recycling's on call. So whenever it's full, you call it in. I was looking at your outline and it said that they were already set on a regular schedule. I don't know if that's a seasonal thing or.
Yeah, so typically for the festival, we'll get another trash bin, and that'll be a large bin delivered. In the past, we had put it across 6th Street and used that area. That's not available anymore. So we'll be putting that extra bin over in the Business Interiors parking lot, and we've coordinated with the owner there for that to happen. And so that bin we would look to have delivered on either Thursday or Friday, and then just picked up on Monday with no pickup over the weekend. And then our other bins, our normal bins in the alley that you mentioned, those we would request a special pickup on Friday morning to make sure that they're empty leading into the weekend, and then a special pickup on Monday morning as well. So we don't have any overflow or anything sitting there till Tuesday.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. So thank you very much. About the 20-yard going to interiors, what is it? Exterior, interior?
Yeah, Business Interiors.
Business Interiors. That has worked in the past, and it's been a couple years, things change. If I could get written permission from Business Interiors saying it's okay. They own the parking lot, it'll go in, I assume.
Correct. They do, and I can forward you an email from them.
Perfect.
That discussion's already.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just make sure everybody's aware of what's going to happen. They're okay with it. So that'd be great. Thank you. Nothing further at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Johnny, thanks for taking my calls and the email that we have going back and forth with the parking that you need over on 6th Street. So we're set. We're ready to go. Thanks, man.
Yeah, and we will pay that invoice on our way out today.
All right. Thank you.
So just to be clear, you're not going to be closing 6th Street, but there could be things parked on 6th Street.
Just in the regular parking along the east side of the Bass Center. So yeah, our barricades will not, push out into 6th Street at all. So there shouldn't be an impact, and there hasn't in the past been an impact at all to the traffic lanes.
Okay,
going
I think
south.
just for safety purposes, we'll probably just divert to 3rd Street for Friday night and Saturday, just to make it easier for everybody.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you so much for submitting your notification of event to us. So once you finalize your vendor list, please email it to me. Thank you.
Nothing from the parks. Hi. Thank you for responding to my emails and getting in touch with Mel about the stage and all that jazz. Couple of questions. Is that parking lot at Business Interior is going to be accessible through the alley for employees Thursday night, Friday?
Yeah, so we've had discussion with them. In the past, we haven't had the sheep wagon show up until later in the day on Friday, and we have allowed them also to use Grove Street via Capitol Boulevard, just for their employees and the limited traffic that's there. Again, our actual festival isn't going to pick up until 5 p.m. on Friday. So that's one of the important things and concerns that they've had, is that their employees still have access to that parking lot.
Okay, great. I'm sure all your neighbors on that block are thrilled that this is coming back. It's a fun event. So just make sure everybody knows, send me any information. And if you need any further assistance with the stage, I've kind of let Mel in our office is the one that handles that. And if you need anything else from me, please let me know. And yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. Looks like you got your special events permit already applied for, so that's good to go. I got a question for you about the food prep trailer. Did you guys have a large propane cylinder in that area last year or last time?
We did.
Like one of the big ones?
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Yeah. Vertical.
This year, could you make sure that it has vehicle impact protection? The way we accomplish that usually is concrete blocks, just because it's so close to 6th Street there.
Would the concrete flower pots be considered that?
Those, I'd have to look at them. I'd have to see them, but something substantial enough to resist a low speed impact from a vehicle. But it's something to protect it, and we can work through that.
Great.
The other thing is, I think I'm okay with the fire access. It looks like between the stage and 6th Street is going to remain pretty open. Is that correct? There's not going to be any structures or anything there? Okay. Can you do me a favor and make sure the stage is positioned as far south as you can get it, so we have that clear access to get all the way through? And then also the food prep trailer and tent at 6th and Grove give us as much room as you can there as well to get our vehicles by. Okay. And then I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning. You guys sent in your medical application last week, so I think we're good to go. Thank you.
Excellent.
Hey guys, so I just pulled up the catering permit that was submitted as well. So just question, so I see all the security folks around. Is the alcohol gonna be going up and down the street for this event?
Yes.
Okay, and so the barriers between the buildings themselves can count as the barrier, right? You guys have any other kind of fencing or anything like that to kind of keep it contained within the street access there?
So we will have a barrier from, you see the dance hall access into the Bass Center.
Yeah.
On 6th Street, a barrier from there that extends up into the entrance to the bar to keep that separate. And that's one reason we have a security station there, to keep everything on that side over.
Right.
On the north side, we haven't typically closed that off just because business access for other folks on the block. But we do station a guard there. And then we do have signage that goes in every one of those corners around the barricades that is a no alcohol beyond this point.
Okay, notification. All right. Yeah, we can talk offline. I might just have a couple of more specific questions, but sounds like a good deal, but I'll just double check with you offline. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Good morning. Just a couple of quick questions. The barricades, I'm assuming those will be easily movable. Will they also be manned with your security that's right in that area? So if you did have an emergency, they can get out of the way before you're bringing in a vehicle?
Yep.
Perfect. And then how do you guys plan to communicate with your people working the event?
Yeah, so we'll have a slew of volunteers from the Bass Center, in particular, people on the Bass Center board working in both the beer booth and the food booth. And then our bar is also open. And so we'll have every member of our permanent staff as well working. And so typically, since everything is pretty clustered there, we just rely on, shouting at one another and running back and forth. And we also have cell phones as well.
Cell phones is always a great thing. Can appreciate that. Did you happen to mention who your security company was going to be that's going to be there?
Yeah, it'll be MAV.
MAV.
Yeah, and our next page has our security plan if we need to go into any detail on that.
That would actually be great if you would do that, please.
Yeah, so this is the revised plan that we had quite a bit of conversation with the Boise Police after the 2018 event. So this is what we landed on for 2019, and it went fairly smoothly. So hopefully it's clear what this is trying to communicate, but basically the staffing for security picks up to nine guards at any time when we're expecting, quite a bit of activity on the block, and then ramps down overnight. So we always have at least one guard to make sure nothing's happening with equipment or anything like that, and maintaining the street closure and the barricades. Yeah, so there's a little more detail on the guard stationing on the map and described here if you want to get into the real details, but suffice it to say, our main concerns are ID checks and then keeping the boundaries of the festival, keeping integrity on those. And then at the stationing, when there's more guards, we'll have a couple just that roam wherever's needed.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate you going over that. That's all the questions I have.
Thanks.
Hello, just to kind of make sure I understand on top of what police and Rachel were saying. So the full festival, including the sidewalks, are going to be part of your footprint with alcohol flowing? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So anyone entering will be ID'd. Do you have detouring pedestrian traffic around? Is that necessary, John?
It's not anybody that enters the block. It's to get a wristband.
Okay. You're going to wristband at the beer booth?
Usually it's a separate booth.
Okay.
But nearby. the
Oh, okay. I
alcohol
see.
tent.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure if there needed to be a pedestrian detour because the sidewalks will be closed. Otherwise, you're in the festival, that we manage that as well. So I'll let the experts in that area take care of that if needed.
They have not brought that up, and we would have to have pretty significant discussions if we're closing the entire block to pedestrian access.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one reason we've kept the sidewalks open, particularly on the north side, just to allow that business access at all times. Because being good neighbors, we don't want to keep anybody out of a business they're trying to access, and that's another reason why we've increased the number of security on duty. They'll basically be looking at anybody that has a drink in hand to make sure they have a wristband at any time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I don't need anything else from you guys. I appreciate the continued communication. You did do a great job, although it's been 3 years since you've been here, so you weren't as rusty as you thought. If you need anything more, let me know. I'm sure Rachel will schedule a safety and security meeting just to fine tune the details as the date gets closer.
Appreciate it.
I do have one final question. You said particularly on the north, you're going to keep the sidewalk open. Does that mean not particularly on the south?
So the only part where the sidewalk would be, and not completely blocked, just somewhat blocked, is from the dance hall entry on the Bass Center up to where the bar entry is. So there's still free access between where the food booth is and I guess what you would call the Bass Center Bar patio out on Grove Street.
So you're gonna have like a walkway behind it or something. Can we make sure that that stays a minimum of 4 foot? And it needs to be ADA compliant so that, you know, somebody that's disabled won't get lost going through there.
Certainly.
Okay.
But since Debbie let me pop in, if you don't mind, please, Maria. 2 things. You're starting the closure at 4 o'clock on Thursday.
Correct.
Don't expect to be able to start setting up until 6. And the reason for that is there's 2-hour parking on that block and the parking may not be evacuated until 6 o'clock, even though enforcement is till, I believe Vince said 8. The second thing is, are you using the traditional sheep herder's wagon?
These will be the over-the-road versions, so rubber tires, so we can move them.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
If you guys decide to bring a traditional one in, I will require that you have wood underneath the rims to distribute the weight, so I don't have the wheel with a point load on those pavers out there, because otherwise they can fracture those pavers with the point load out there on a steel rim.
Okay.
All right, moving online, Ed.
Thank you and good morning. Just a couple of quick questions. So I was looking on your application and it says you're going to utilize cans. Is that for beer and non-alcoholic drinks? You'll have cans or?
So water would be in bottles and then we would have bottles as well for soft drinks.
Okay. Okay. And then, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just, yeah, beer would be in cans.
Cans. Okay. But are you also doing draft beer too?
In the past, we've done a mix and I'm not 100% sure at this time. We have a meeting coming up with our distributor to iron that out.
But we will have like for the Cali Mocho drinks, we will have recyclable cups for that as the plan.
Okay. Okay. Well, great. Yeah, we'll work offline. I mean, I saw your request for the trash boxes and recycle bins, so we can get you taken care of. Just with this big of event downtown, I just cannot stress enough. If we can work to limit, and reduce your waste, I mean, we can make a big impact. So I'll be in touch and we'll get some things squared away for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sydney.
I got your insurance the other day, so we're all good on our end.
Awesome. Thanks so much, you guys. I think that's it. Everybody will, with the leftovers, will follow up individually, and then Rachel will set up a safety and security meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next up, 4th of July fireworks, Summer. We're going to put Summer on the hot seat. What I said earlier about asking hard questions, ask as many hard questions as you like.
Clicker. It's like nervous. No making fun, guys. It's a little, stressful up here. All right.
Deep breath. Deep breath.
All right. Okay. So we're back. We're back at Ann Morrison Park this year. We're excited and it's going to be the full go. So we'll have music and food vendors, all the great stuff back. So it's going to be Monday, July 4th at Ann Morrison Park. We are again closed. Can you hear me from here? We're closing it again to traffic all day long, starting at sunrise for the entire park. We are going to have river floating that starts again around 11 a.m. and we give them access from starting at 11 until 7 p.m. They have permits and our security is aware of that. We have concessions that are starting at 6. The fireworks are traditionally, we like to ask the community to come down around 10:15 and they start at dusk, which if the weather is perfect, is somewhere in between 10:15 and 10:30. So the fireworks are going to be synchronized to a soundtrack. They can go to Lotus Radio and find out which channels they can listen to. We'll have a VIP tent available. This is a very general overview of a map. I will send all of you guys our detailed maps of where the porta potties go specifically, where security guards go specifically, and we can do that offline. But this is just a general showing where we have ADA parking at from Royal, where the road closure will take place from Americana, where the fountain we would love to have up and going, but is still under construction. So to be continued on that. Last year, we started doing this, closing the Americana entrance, and I feel like we had the team feel like it was a total success and it was safer, and continuing it, I think the community will be able to remember that that's what we're going to do. We are going to put some signage out in the park the weeks ahead of time, so people are aware that the dog park will be impacted and things like that. So let's see. It's going to be closed to all vehicles all day long. We will have security there in the morning throughout the day, so they'll let any emergency services in. Royal Boulevard entrance is always busy for us. And so as this team progresses, if you have suggestions for me that you think would make it easier or better for the community, I'm all ears. But for now, we run it with security at sunrise. The river float starts, they start at 11. And we do allow families that are dropping off equipment or they're picking up their kids to come into the park, into the first lot. We'll list that on our website. We'll also put that on our media release, but they're allowed to come into the first lot, and it's a loading and unloading zone. So we'll put that out also 2 weeks ahead of time along the greenbelt, so people are aware of that change, so they don't drop their kids off and realize, you know, at 5:30 that they can't drive all the way in to pick up. So throughout the day, also that Royal Boulevard entrance is ADA accessible parking, so you can park as long as your placard is there. And we close that road at 8 p.m. for all traffic, just because there is a ton of foot traffic in the park if you haven't been there or seen it. Ann Morrison Drive entrance, this is, we call it the softball field, the sports area. We have security there starting at sunrise. That does have restrooms that are available. It has lights in the evening, but we use it primarily for ADA access. Same thing, closes at 8 p.m. This is a copy of our traffic control plan from Northwest Traffic Services. This is part of the neighborhood association or neighborhood communication that goes to Crescent Rim. So they get this a week ahead of time that just explains where Crescent Rim is going to be closed. We work together with ACHD and Boise Police Department and Valley-wide React to implement this closure. I do have questions offline for you, John, of when we should put the no parking signs out, because it's on a Monday if you have a team that's there on Sunday. So remind me. They'll get these details of just progressively how it closes throughout the day. They get passes. I cannot read this, don't mind me. But generally, this is just for all the neighborhoods. This is for the condos that are up there. Everybody that lives up there gets 4 passes. If they need extras, they have my direct line and they can and will call me for their extra passes. So that is that. Signal 88, we have used them in the past over the years. We'll continue to use them. They cover the fire perimeter. They cover our road closures as we ramp up to when the fireworks are set on site. They will start roaming throughout the park. I have a final number that I can share at our security meeting along with their locations and their specific duties. This is our fire perimeter. It's pretty self-explanatory for you guys. Western Display Fireworks has already submitted their permit, I believe, Jesse. The show duration is approximately 20 minutes, but with weather, we just like people to know, you know, if you're in an Uber and you're 30 minutes out, then I would find a good space to watch it. Outside of that, our fire inspection, of course, in the morning of, which I know we'll have Forest now do that. And we normally put this fire perimeter up the day before. It's very little impact to the public. And disc golf players still play during that time. So, and they're good to do that. This is our lost persons trailer and our medical trailer. They go side by side. It works wonderful if we have a lost persons, if we have somebody that has heat exhaustion. The fire department has been nice enough to let us use their fire safe house. They bring it down in the morning. It's air conditioned. We put popsicles and sunscreen, water bottles, all that fun stuff in there. I have been working with Cameo for the medical plan. This is what we've used in the past, but we may be lucky enough to have our fire department come out there and assist in that because we know you guys are so busy. So we'll talk more with Rachel on that. But they're out, they respond to calls for within the event footprint. They communicate with the command post. So if we see something, we can say something early on and get people out there. They also help with river floaters getting off the river, because oftentimes we have 911 calls that come from the general public while they're on the river. And we've been fine tuning it over the years of how and when and where we bring services into the park and if we need to. So working with the fire department will be wonderful this year to have extra hands on deck. ADA parking lots. This is, again, we'll put this out on our media release. We also encourage the community, if this is far for them to go, there's a number of other wonderful places that you can see the fireworks at. And we kind of list those out as well so that, you know, if going down into the park is, you know, maybe too much, Crescent Rim is wonderful. The Depot's great, Federal Way, and we'll put a list of those out there for them as well. If you have friends or family that are considering this, we just remind people that it takes about 45 minutes to get out of the park at the end of the park when you get those parking spaces. So let's see, another overview. These are our porta potties. We do additional lighting for the end of the park until 11 p.m. or actually until the command post tells us that it's clear and we can start shutting those down. It just helps with egress at the end of the park. Dumpster locations, doesn't say recycling, Ed, but we do have recycling. So those are there as well. There's a short list of it. Natasha, I owe you a couple of details for finalizing our permits. So we'll have concessions. They come out. It's pretty tried and true, great fair foods. We do beer and wine, and that's done by Perea Grill. That starts at 6 p.m. They close at 10. They contract through MAB Security to do the roaming and ID checking and things like that. The parks puts up fencing in the very large area. So if families are waiting in line at the tiki shaped ice, that they can still wait in line for beer as well, and their families all in one space. So, but it is contained into that circle of the park. This year we did ask our beer and wine provider to only do cans, which they were happy to do. Oh, there's extra information. There's a website out there. If there's any weather changes, if there's health changes to our public, you know, things like that, that will all go up on this website. Our neighborhood notifications go out 2 weeks out. They go in mailers, they go to the next door, they go on community calendars, everywhere that we can get the word out for the public. And news release will go out around the 22nd of this month. For now, that's what I have. Let's hear it.
Thank you, Summer.
Yes.
John.
Hey, Summer. We just need the special event permit and the traffic control plan for that. We haven't received it yet.
I think I sent it to you also. I did upload everything to our special event.
Yeah, I got a
permit
CUP, but I didn't see our.
The typing. Okay.
So, but I'll check again.
I'll send it.
Traditionally, we are going to stage the materials for the closure the Thursday
Okay.
on the 30th.
Okay.
The police would be responsible on the 4th of July morning to go and activate all of the no parking anytime signs. All you have to do is turn around the cones.
Yes. And I think that React meets you guys out there in the morning and does that as part of
Now, those are no parking anytime tow away 6 to 6 signs. Somewhere around 4 or 5, I'd recommend that we close the road down with the barricades. And then we shouldn't have anybody parking on the street saying, well, I've been parking here all day. Then I'll let you guys deal with those morons. But we'll have everything staged. And then if I could ask your officers at the end of the day or React or whoever to put the materials back in the same location that they got the stuff from, we will pick the materials up on the 5th.
Perfect.
But people will be able to park on Crescent Rim all the way up till the morning of the 4th.
Okay. All right.
And are you using Northwest for your traffic control again? Please remind Mr. Inch that he has to have the signs properly placed on Americana, because I really don't want to come back down there on the 4th of July at 7:30 a.m. to fix the stuff.
Thank you.
Real quick, sorry, Conrad, before you go on, Mr. Inch is online raising his hand, so I'd like to have him speak. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
Hello. Sorry, I didn't expect to be talking today, but yes, we will absolutely put the signs in the right place, John, so you don't have to go out at 7:30 in the morning and fix them.
I'm there, so you guys call me and I'll. move
It's
your
more
signs.
fun calling him at 7:30 in the morning and telling him there's a problem.
I see. Okay.
I have Star Parade that day, so I'll get it. I'll get it handled before I head to Star.
Thank you. Conrad?
I think we're about all set. We wanted to add that 6-yard dumpster. So I just need to know exactly where to put that.
Perfect.
And then I believe last time we spoke, you were talking about maybe getting more detailed maps for those roll-offs.
Yep, I'll send those out for you guys.
Thank you. And we talked about the cones, the magic cones.
Gonna be the year, Conrad. That is like, it's it. It's happening. That's it, though.
Right on. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Summer, thanks for all the information. We're good in parking. We're set. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bet.
We won't be operating on Mondays, so have a fun event.
Thank you for all the information, Summer. Just update me whenever you're ready. Okay, thanks.
Your plan to let the residents and the community know looks great. Thanks.
Summer, I think we discussed everything all the issues I had this morning before this meeting. So I think we're good to go.
Yes, and I will just, I will submit the VIP tent plans from Event Rent tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
We're good.
Yes.
I got my marching orders from John apparently, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get all the same police services set up again and the command post there, so we're good.
Yes.
Good morning. So we are planning on having a command post for this one, similar to in the past, where we'll get everybody working together to include a CHD that will be there with us to help manage the traffic, to get them flushed out of the area safely. So we have our planning meeting next week. We'll start with that. If we need to include anybody else, we will reach out from there. But we will have a full packet and a full team work in this.
The only thing I was interested in obtaining was the dog park notification for the day of, just so we can send it to the animal control officers.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be helpful.
We can do
for
that.
me, so.
Okay.
Thanks.
I will send. Yes.
And moving online, Ed, I think it was probably music to your ears to hear beer and wine's all going to be in cans.
Yeah, you totally read my mind. That's awesome, Summer. Thank you so much for implementing that. And also, so for the 100 trash boxes, I'm assuming you're going to get that from Conrad.
I'll pick those up.
Okay.
We have 25 recycling bins, your yellow ones.
Mhm.
So we'll put those out also in the food vendor area.
Okay, sweet. So you don't need to borrow anything from
No.
me, right?
Do you have lids that just let the cans go through?
Mhm.
Like to go
We
on
do.
those yellow bins?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Can I maybe get 20 of those then? I think it would
Sure.
just help with the community being able, sometimes people just trash what they want in spaces, but they can't get it in the can hole, then it's okay. It's a
No,
little
that'd be
process.
a lot of effort for them to like take it off and then put their, McDonald's bag in or whatever. Yes, I will get you 20 lids for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, and then also, do you see attendees? Did they bring in a lot of like canned beverages on their own? Do you know, or like?
Yeah, they bring a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Okay.
We've really, over the years, decided to put the recycling in the concession area and not so much out to the general public. One, because we have trash cans with recycling attached for the general public, but we can control it a little bit more in that small space. And we find it a little bit more contaminated with general trash when we put it outside the concession circle.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So the concession circle, that's kind of a controlled, contained area that we should be able to capture, like, hopefully most of those cans. Okay.
Lots of
Cool.
white cans.
Yeah, and then just one more thing. Have you thought about, or like, is a water refill station something for this
We
event
do.
or not?
I'm sorry, I
Okay,
didn't
you
put
do.
that on the map, but we do have a water refill station that is kind of close to the lost persons medical area off to the left of that. And that is, the water company normally comes out and does that. We didn't do it
Nice.
last due to COVID, so.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Summer. Excellent. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm
And
sorry, Maria, sorry.
Go ahead, Conrad.
Speaking of the boxes, we are bringing those to you though.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
And is your crew able to bring them back after the event?
Yep.
Wonderful.
We'll truck
Okay.
back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, now Sydney.
Hi, Summer. We'll just need proof of insurance from the vendor doing the fireworks.
I will remind her today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Maria, I do have one alibi.
Oh,
I'm
no
sorry.
more. One more.
In the past, ACHD does not require traffic control, but many times the police will go out there and use police powers to close Americana to help flush the park out. Just wanted to remind everybody of that. There is no traffic control required because they just go out and do it using their standard police authority.
My apologies. I think I must have taken that off this year, but they do. I have talked with Matt Konvalinka and we are going to do that the same. Great. Sorry. Thanks, John. Anyways, there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We have one thing that's off agenda, and we have just a couple of minutes for it, but Jay Romleen, did I pronounce that correctly? Is here to talk just quickly about the Veterans Day Parade. And Jay, we just a quick couple minutes if you can.
I'm sorry, I thought it was on the red light. So we'll propose that next year in 2023, and that being a route that starts at the Idaho Veterans Home, the Idaho State Veterans Home, goes out through the VA property onto Fort Street, down and back, loops back around to where it started again by way of a reserve road, or depending on what the armor can handle on the roads there. Or depending on how the roads handle the armor, we'll have to see how that goes, what that final route is. But we understand that changing a parade route is a big deal, and we wanted to get that in front of you people as soon as we could, and so we could iron out all the bugs. So in effect, that's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Great, thank you. We can chat a little bit more about it in advance of this year's parade and then immediately afterwards, but thanks for the heads up on that. Thank you. Just a couple of things. We have one pending approval for Savor, Idaho, which is coming up very quickly this weekend, and a favor. Kelly is spending a lot of time, an inordinate amount of time, chasing information from everyone, from sign-offs. It causes our event organizers a lot of anxiety to not have their sign-offs on time, especially if they're event organizers who have provided all of their materials. So I would just ask everyone to please double down on being very, very timely about sign-off in the system. Again, it's a great place to keep notes, but they're not here for us. We're here for them. And I would like to make Kelly's job as pleasant as possible so that we can keep her in this very important role. So please just beseeching all of you to be prompt in your sign off, to respect Kelly's time and to help our event organizers ease their anxiety. End of lecture. And then also just want to mention to everyone, Heather let me know that this is her last special events meeting with us. She has a very fantastic new position that she is moving to. And so we're going to have Andre here in her stead. And Heather, we will miss you very much.
Thank you. I have to be tied in somehow with I'm going to the university to be the director of special events there. So I hope to be tied in a little bit here anyway in that capacity. So.
Yeah. So for those of you online, Heather is going to Boise State University to run their special events. It's a bit of a new position. Excited to have her in that and expect to be connected some more. You all can see the pending after action reports. Those are just as important as the sign-offs at the beginning. So we have a good record and can have good follow-up with event organizers. I imagine as our community continues to grow, these things will get ever more complex. So it's good to get in the habit of our processes now. With that, anything else for the good of the order? Debbie.
We still have not received the revisions for the World Village. So we don't have an approved traffic control plan for them yet.
Okay.
Just an FYI. I sent them an email again today reminding.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If you don't hear back and we need to regroup again with a meeting, we can do that. I'm just kind of curious to know if they're making the modifications or, what the holdup is.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything back from them since we sent that email telling them that we're not going to allow 6th Street closure.
And if I can add on my side, I do have their service request, but they've been told, and I don't know their status on this, but they're going to need meters reserved and an ACHD street permit to have the dumpsters in the road.
Great.
Parking stall.
Kelly, you may just want to follow up if we don't hear back from them.
Depending on what you guys find out, I'm happy to schedule a safety and security meeting just to get everybody rounded up so we can go through the plan. Because I know they're trying really hard. I just think there might be some disconnects in the conversations. And so maybe if we can all look at it together and make that decision as a team, that would help them tremendously.
That sounds like a great idea, Rachel. Anything else on your end, Kelly?
I was just going to say, hopefully everyone received my emails for next week, a little bit of onboarding, training, coaching, question and answer, informal discussions, but I'm happy to have a little just offline time with everyone to fine tune some of the things that we do here. If we get a handful of people, I understand it's the middle of summer, we're all busy and we have vacations. I can definitely schedule another hour in the weeks coming for anyone that cannot be there. I will also record them if anyone wants to go back and just watch. So thanks.
Thank you. And with that, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.